Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're tuned in for our daily UPSC Current Affairs Deep Dive. It's September 10th, 2025, and this is part 1. Today, we've got a really interesting mix of sources covering national security, some global geography, even some critical health updates. Think of this as your, essential briefing to stay ahead for your exams.
Absolutely. And our goal today really is to pull out the most important points from these updates. Now, for our regular listeners, you might find some topics familiar. Think of it as good revision, yeah? Helps lock in that understanding. We'll be, connecting the dots and exploring why all this stuff actually matters in the bigger picture.
Exactly. And hey, if you find this valuable, and we think you will, please do hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. And make sure you don't miss future insights. Okay, let's dive in. So kicking things off, a pretty significant event for India's defense landscape, the Combined Commanders Conference 2025. What's really interesting here, the Prime Minister himself is inaugurating it in Kolkata. That's not just routine, is it? Signals something important.
Oh, definitely not routine. The CCC is basically the top-level brainstorming forum for our armed forces. It brings together the highest civil and military leaders, for that crucial strategic exchange. This year, it's happening September 15th to 17th in Kolkata, and the theme is Year of Reforms Transforming for the Future. For you listening, the key thing is the PM's involvement. It really signals a top-down push for, significant change.
Right, year of reforms. So what does that actually mean on the ground? Are we talking major shifts in strategy or operations? How does this relate to the, complex global situation?
Well, it points to a really strong commitment, not just talk, but institutional change, deeper integration between the services, and definitely pushing harder on tech modernization. The goal is making the forces more agile, more decisive. But here's what's interesting. It's not just top-down strategy. They're including interactive sessions with officers from various ranks.
Getting that field perspective.
Exactly. Bringing those ground-level insights into the high-level discussions, that's pretty crucial for making reforms actually work. And having the Defense Minister, NSA, CDS, Defense Secretary, all there just underlines how serious this is.
Okay, switching gears now. From defense strategy to global geography. There was a magnitude 5.2 earthquake near Athens recently, and it brought an island called Evia into the news. Maybe not super well known, but it sounds quite unique.
It is, actually. Evia, or Euboea, as it's also known, isn't just some small island. It's the second largest in Greece, right after Crete.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and the third largest in Europe, over 3,500 square kilometers. So it's a significant piece of land in the Aegean Sea, part of central Greece.
And people call it a mainland island. That sounds a bit strange. What does that mean practically, especially with things like earthquakes?
Right. It sounds odd, but it's because it's so incredibly close to the mainland. Separated only by the narrow Euboean Strait, there are bridges, connections, so it's very linked.
So events on the mainland affect it more directly.
Precisely. Economic shifts, seismic activity like this earthquake. The impact is more direct than on more remote islands. Plus, its geography is really dramatic mountains like Durfee and Kandili, forests, wetlands. The main city, Halkida, even has this weird tidal thing where the current changes direction constantly. Yeah, in the Euripus Strait. And it has that classic Mediterranean climate, of course.
Okay, staying with big initiatives, let's talk international collaboration. The UK-India Infrastructure Financing Bridge just had its first anniversary. What's the main goal here? Why is this bridge so important for India's development?
Well, this is about turning partnerships into real action, getting that crucial foreign investment flowing. The UKIIFB is basically a joint effort between Niti Aayog and the City of London, the main aim, channeling sustainable infrastructure investment into India, and crucially, leveraging the UK's experience.
Experience in managing big projects, right?
Exactly. Their know-how in structuring finance, managing risk on these massive projects. It's bringing that expertise, not just the money, into India's growing infrastructure scene.
Makes sense. So it's about quality, not just quantity. Are they focusing on specific sectors? And what are the tricky parts of making UK expertise work on the ground in India?
Yeah, definitely quality and sustainability. It's part of the UK-India economic and financial dialogue. There's a steering committee, UK Treasury folks, big construction companies, law firms from both sides. They focus on getting mega projects bid ready. Think national highways, rapid transport systems, big renewable energy projects.
Okay.
The challenge really is navigating the different regulations, the scale of projects here. So it's about working together to build a stable system for investment, one that aligns with the sustainable development goals.
All right, let's shift focus domestically. Something really important for urban development and protecting consumers. The launch of the unified RERA portal. This feels like a big step for transparency in real estate.
Oh, it's huge. RERA, the Real Estate Act, came in 2016 to tackle delays and protect home buyers. But until now, every state had its own separate website, bit of a patchwork. So the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has now launched this unified portal, rera.mohuia.gov.in. The key takeaway here is consolidation. It's about creating one single, reliable source of information, cutting through the confusion buyers often face.
A single source of truth, basically. And I heard something about AI flagging potential delays. That could be massive. What about trust in the market? Any potential issues, like data privacy?
Exactly. Building trust is key. It creates a national database, boosts transparency, lets states share best practices. Buyers can now check project details, approvals, status, timelines, developer history, all in one spot nationwide.
That saves a lot of hassle.
Absolutely. And yes, the AI part is fascinating. It'll use AI tools to try and proactively flag projects that might get delayed or stalled. Privacy is always a factor with big databases, sure, but the idea is to use publicly available project data to add that predictive layer. Makes the market more accountable. And for developers. It standardizes reporting, simplifies compliance. Should be easier for them too, in theory.
Okay, from cities to the fields. Let's talk about Nilgiri tea growers. They're facing this ongoing cost-price crisis for green tea leaves. Sounds tough.
It is tough, and it connects to broader issues in agricultural economics, doesn't it? Nilgiri tea, it's known for being really aromatic, flavorful, grown mainly in the Nilgiris in Tamil Nadu, some in Kerala and Karnataka too. It even got a geographical indication, a GI tag, back in 2008.
Right, recognizing its uniqueness.
Exactly. But the point is, even a premium GI tag product like this isn't safe from market problems, especially global ones.
So what are the specific issues causing this crisis? Is it just about falling prices, or is there more to it?
It's several things coming together. A big one is relying too much on exports to Russia. That makes them very vulnerable to shocks in that one market. Very risky. Then there are issues with, inconsistent quality sometimes. Adulteration can be a problem, and maybe not enough focus on building the domestic market here in India. So it highlights that risk of putting all your eggs in one basket, even if you have a great product grown in ideal conditions, high altitude, good rainfall, laterite soil, all that stuff. They need better market strategy, better quality control.
Okay, now for something slightly alarming. An environmental and public health issue. The giant African snail. Experts are warning about serious risks in Chennai. Invasive species are always bad news, but this one sounds particularly nasty.
Yeah, this one is deeply concerning because it hits on multiple levels. The giant African snail, Lysichatina fulica, isn't just a pest that eats your garden plants. It's ranked among the world's worst invasive species.
Oh, wow.
Native to East Africa, but it's spread everywhere. Pet trade, food source, just hitching rides. And the critical thing is how adaptable it is. Loves warm, humid places like Chennai. Thrives in farms, forests, even right in the city. Eats over 500 types of plants. And decaying stuff, too.
Ugh. Okay, beyond wrecking crops, you mentioned a direct health threat. That's the really scary part for a city. What are the risks?
That's the crux of it. It carries parasites, specifically the rat lungworm Angiostrongylus cantonensis and A. costaricensis. These parasites, if they get into humans, can cause really serious brain infections, eosinophilic meningoencephalitis, and also abdominal problems.
How do people get infected?
Usually by accidentally eating contaminated snails, maybe poorly cooked ones, or even just ingesting the snail's slime trail left on vegetables or surfaces.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a major public health risk, especially in dense urban areas. All right, let's travel now to the Zero Valley in Arunachal Pradesh. We're going to talk about the Apatani Tribes. They have some really unique customs, especially among the women, that tell quite a story.
They really do. And it's fascinating how culture often reflects history and, survival strategies. Apatani women are known for their facial tattoos called tsepe and these wooden nose plugs, the yapping hello. Now, this tradition was actually banned back in the 1970s, so you mostly see it on older women now. But the origin is striking.
What was it?
It started as a way to protect women from being abducted by rival tribes. The idea was the tattoos and plugs would make them look less desirable to outsiders.
That's incredible, a defensive cultural practice.
Exactly. A really poignant example. Beyond that, they speak Tani, worship the sun and moon, Dani Polo. They have major festivals like Dri for a good harvest, and Myoko celebrating friendship. But what's maybe most remarkable is their farming. Since the 60s, they've practiced this amazing integrated rice fish farming.
Rice and fish together. In the mountains?
Yeah, in their terrace paddies. They use specific traditional rice varieties, emio, paiape, mapia, and raised fish right there in the water. It's incredibly sustainable, using natural cycles for nutrients and pest control. Really shows deep ecological knowledge.
From Arunachal to Bengal, let's talk Hilsa Fish. This story mixes diplomacy, culture, and food. Bangladesh is exporting Hilsa to India for Durga Puja, calling it a gesture of friendship. Food diplomacy in action.
It really is. And Hilsa, or Elish, Tenulosa elisha, holds such a special place in Bengali culture on both sides of the border. It's prized for that unique, delicate flavor, the texture. It's more than just food, it's an emotion for many. It's an anadromous fish, lives in salt water, but swims up rivers like the Padma, Meghna, Ganges, even Godavari to spawn.
And Bangladesh is the powerhouse for Hilsa, right?
Oh,
It must be hugely important for their economy and identity.
Oh, absolutely. They produce something like 70% of the world's Hilsa. It's their national fish, huge source of pride.
Wow, 70%.
Yeah, it accounts for about 12% of their total fish catch and roughly 1% of their GDP, so economically vital. The key insight here, though, is that while this export is a gesture of friendship, Bangladesh manages these exports carefully. They have to balance diplomacy with their own domestic needs and conservation.
Is it endangered?
Actually, despite the huge demand, its official IUCN status is least concern right now. But management is still critical.
Okay, let's dig into resources now. Phosphate rock. The Environment Ministry has okayed an environmental impact study for a mine in Jaisalmer, Rajasthan, the Brahmania mine. This touches on resource security, but also big environmental questions.
Definitely. It brings up that classic tension, national need versus environmental protection. Phosphate rock is basically where we get phosphorus from. Absolutely essential for plant growth, so critical for fertilizers like DAP and NPK. It's a sedimentary rock formed ages ago from organic matter on seabeds. Morocco has huge deposits. They're a major producer. But for India, the key thing is our dependence on imports. That's the real vulnerability here.
How dependent are we, and what's the specific environmental issue with this Brahmania mine?
We import about 90% of our phosphate rock. 90%.
That's massive.
It is. So domestic sources are really important. Right now, we only produce it significantly in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. It's also used in animal feed, detergents, insecticides. The big environmental red flag for the Brahmania mine is its location. It's proposed in an area considered potential habitat for the great Indian bustard.
Ah, the JEA, critically endangered.
Exactly. So you have this direct conflict, a vital resource we desperately need, versus protecting one of our most endangered birds. It's a really tough balancing act.
Finally, let's cover a crucial health topic. World Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy Day is observed on September 7th. It highlights the importance of awareness about these conditions. What exactly is DMD?
Right. And understanding these rare genetic disorders is so important. Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy, or DMD, is one such disorder. It causes progressive muscle degeneration, weakness. It was first described way back in the 1860s by Duchenne himself. The core issue is a genetic fault that stops the body producing a protein called dystrophin.
Dystrophin.
Yeah, it's vital. It acts like a shock absorber for muscle fibers, protecting them during contraction. Without it, muscles get damaged, weaken, and eventually get replaced by scar tissue and fat.
And it primarily affects boys, is that right? What are the signs? How does it progress? And what treatments are available?
That's correct. The gene for dystrophin is on the X chromosome. Since males only have one X, if it's faulty, they get the disease. Females usually have a second, healthy X chromosome, making them carriers, typically without severe symptoms. Symptoms often show up early, around age 2 or 3. Starts with weakness in muscles close to the body's core: hips, thighs, shoulders.
So trouble running, jumping.
Exactly. Difficulty running, jumping, climbing stairs, often a waddling gait, enlarged calf muscles. It progresses to affect limb muscles and eventually heart and breathing muscles too. It's multisystemic. There's no cure yet, sadly. But treatments like gene therapy, exon skipping, gene repair, they offer hope for managing the disease, slowing progression, improving quality of life. Awareness is key for early diagnosis and access to these therapies.
Wow, okay. We have really covered a lot of ground today, from defense strategy and global health to environmental flashpoints and economic ties. A really comprehensive sweep for September 10th, Part 1.
Absolutely. We've touched on governance, geopolitics, economics, health, environment, all critical areas for your UPSC prep. Each topic gives you a window into the complex issues India and the world are dealing with.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. How do all these different updates, defense reforms, an invasive snail in Chennai, a unified portal for housing, the struggles of tea growers, How do they actually connect? How do they show the interconnectedness of everything and India's changing role in this complex global web?
Keep asking those kinds of questions. Keep digging into those connections. That's where the real understanding comes from.
Well said. Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this helpful. It helps us keep bringing you these insights. Until next time, keep digging deeper.